Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Wednesday, the 27th of August 2025. So bonds and bullion bid amid Cook chaos, stocks steady as NVIDIA looms. Cookie chaos steepens yield curve, crushes dollar and crude and crypto. So what they're referring to here is Cook, one of the Fed governors who has been fired by Trump. So it's causing a bit of a stir. US stocks edged higher with tech among gainers ahead of NVIDIA earnings, which are going to be released this evening after the market close, and dollar hit and bonds steepen as Trump fires Fed Governor Cook. So, I wonder if he's working his way up to actually firing Powell. Just sort of sending one across the bow, so just giving him notice and a bit of a warning there. Anyway, let's have a look at these markets and see how they managed to edge higher during yesterday's trading session and kick off with the Dow. So in the Dow, market was down and then it came back. At the moment, it's still below the 5 MA. It needs to get back above this in order to move higher. It is above it, obviously, because it's green. But what I'm saying is the overnight seems to be slightly below it. This needs to edge a bit higher and get back above the 5 bar moving average. So yesterday the weakness was all seen in the morning, and then after that the market moving to the upside. It seems like it was impressed with the move by Trump there to get rid of the governor. They probably would be happy to see Powell gone as well, because obviously then Trump would have full control of the interest rates. God preserve us if he does. But we'll see what happens. But it's an interesting time, to say the least. So we need to see the market take out the 5 bar moving average in the daily to get back to the all-time high of 45762. Meanwhile, in Europe, German DAX still struggling, traded down to the 78% retracement yesterday. 50 EMA, we spoke about this, and has moved off this level. And in the 30-minute chart there, you can see where this occurred. We opened, moved higher, then we had the shakeout, get the volume there, and then it was a matter of moving higher. A bit of weakness around the US there with 3 bars. That's an hour and a half's worth of selling. But this then changed and prices moving back to the upside overnight above the DP, and the close just needs to get back above the high there. Go back to the daily, you can see that it's desperate to want to get back with the other stock markets to the all-time high, and it's not too far off either, to be honest with you. So we'll look at the S&P. And in the S&P, this too is desperate to move back to the all-time high of 64869, and it will. You'll see this occurring if the NVIDIA results are good after the market. And prices down yesterday, but just like the Dow, then moving back to the upside. UK, well, there's no stopping the FT 100 either, but a selling pressure around for yesterday. We are heading into overbought territory, but the 9359 is still in the gun sights and is going to be taken out because there's nothing to stop these markets at the moment. So we had a bit of a sell-off in the FT down to the 200 MA. The volume came in there, got the buyers, and then we had the buyers again when they retested the 200 MA, and has since moved on the upside, and of course moving towards the high. In fact, let's just have a look, see what economic news we've got out. I forgot to look at that. Well, there is no economic news today, so that means that the market is free to just move to the upside. So again, coming back to the FT, nothing to stop it moving to the upside during today, along with all of the other markets, of course. So in the headlines, spoke of weakness in the dollar, hardly, but you can see it down there, and it's up on the overnight, which is impacting on the metals at the moment. They're selling off quite sharply, so let's take a look. So starting off with silver, you can see we've got a straight reversal on the overnight at the moment. And in the 30-minute chart, there's no sign yet of any buying coming into the market. There's still nothing there. 30-minute is oversold though. But the low, the S1 and the 200 MA look a very interesting area, because that's where the market came off yesterday. So probably trying to do its best to move off this area and back to the upside. In the gold market, this too is also moving to the downside at the moment, and you can see this overnight quiet yesterday, managing to break late on but at the moment moving to the downside, but we are oversold. We're in a bit of a no man's land situation actually, unless you apply the fib retracements to this area, and you'll see that we're heading to 78 and 89 there. So in the gold-silver ratio, we can see that yesterday that gold performed a lot better than silver, because the gold-silver ratio moved back to the upside to 87.81, but overnight weakening there slightly as gold also moves back along with the silver price at the moment. Right, let's have a quick look at yesterday's market activity in the German DAX 2-minute chart. So yesterday morning the pre-market prices moved higher all the way back to the low. As soon as we hit the low, the selling came in and prices moved back then to the S2, waiting for the market to open, which came in weaker than I'd anticipated. We traded all the way down to the S3, and that's fine because the S3 level, 90% plus of the time the market will stop and reverse off this level. And there you can see it's double tested, and then prices moving back to the upside there and heading back towards the low, which is just not on the screen. So buy signal there, market moving up. Had a bit of a struggle there with the 200 MA and the BRN, but then managed to move through this area. Prices then put in another attempt to move to the upside just before 10 a.m. and then we get into a bit of a trading range, waiting for the Dow to kick off at 2:30, and then we did. Market back at the low. As I maintain, the market always wants to try and get back to the low or get above the low if it can, and obviously on this occasion the short failed, but the long played out really nicely until it ran out of steam, and then we had another sell signal which then managed to take out the low, as you'll see in a moment, and continue to the downside through the 200 MA before it found some support down in this area and then started to move back to the upside there, and then stuck in a range as we went into the evening session or the electronic session for the DAX and the evening session for the US markets. So have a quick look, see where we are overnight, what the market's doing, and you can see there we're stuck in a range. Let's just compress the chart, and you can see there we're closer to yesterday's high. Market's got support at the 200 MA and the close. Might have a bit of a shakeout before moving to the upside, and the low, as you can see, is quite a distance away at the moment, so a bit of stability. No economic news today to shout about, just the NVIDIA numbers later this evening after the US market closes. So with that, let's see what happens, and as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.